Okay, let's dig into something really powerful today. We're doing a deep dive into the very first chapter of Ocean Vuong's book, The Emperor of Gladness.
Right.
And to really get the full picture, we've also pulled in some context about the setting, which is pretty important here, from another source, East Gladness, a New England portrait.
Yeah, that background is key.
So our plan really is to unpack this opening chapter. We want to understand where the protagonist, Hai, is coming from emotionally,
Yeah.
look at this really unexpected encounter he has, and just, touch on the big themes Vuong introduces right away.
Absolutely. And that first chapter, it really sets the tone, doesn't it? It throws you right into some complex emotional stuff.
It really does.
And knowing about the town, East Gladness, it just adds this whole other layer. It's not just scenery, it kind of reflects the internal world of the characters.
Exactly. So maybe let's start there with East Gladness itself. The source describes it as this town along the Connecticut River, built on what it calls a scab of land, which is quite an image.
It really is kind of raw, suggesting maybe it wasn't the best place to build, but they did anyway.
But it's also got this history, right? Rich sediment, fields, tobacco, and corn, even cherry blossoms foaming. So there's beauty.
Oh, definitely. But it's beauty right next to decay or maybe loss. Like the graveyard with lost names that covered bridge over a totally dry brook, like memory fading.
That mixture feels important. Nature doing its thing, but human stuff falling apart. Conway's Sugar Shack, just a shell. Ragweed tangled up with tulips and chain link fences. Those faded plastic toys just left in yards. It feels like a place things get left behind.
It really does. And its relationship with Hartford, the nearby city. The source describes it with this kind of weary tone. People just rush past East Gladness.
A blur in the windows.
Exactly. The only time the city seems to engage is for emergencies, like ambulances. There's that line. We live on the edges, but die in the heart of the state.
Wow, that really hits home.
Yeah.
Live on the edges, die in the heart.
Yeah, it captures that feeling of being, peripheral, marginalized, maybe?
It makes those small details feel even sharper. Minnows in potholes. A laugh that sounds like a sob. The WWII club bar. Those row houses for veterans just staring at the mountains.
And the train whistle. You hear it for miles, but it doesn't stop there. It's like a reminder of movement, of connection that passes them by. As the source says, nothing stops here but us.
Nothing stops here but us. That sense of being stuck.
Yes, stuck or maybe just existing outside the main flow. Look at the junkyard description. Those old school buses, relics of our mislearning in various stages of amnesia.
Covered in ivy, pooled with leaves. It's such a strong image for, like, collective forgetting or mistakes just left to rot.
And even that grim detail, the roadkill eye socket filled with Coca-Cola, it's bizarre specific. It speaks to a kind of stagnant reality, maybe.
And the name East Gladness. It's because they're east of the original Gladness, which got renamed Millsap after a wounded war hero.
Right, and the source says East Gladness refused to rename their town after him because his wheelchair wouldn't work on their sidewalks.
Which tells you something about their identity, doesn't it? Stubborn. Tied to their actual difficult reality.
Definitely. A fierce kind of local pride, maybe. And then there's the 7-month winter, just adds another layer of hardness.
So walking down Main Street, according to the source, it's a real mix. Irish bars, diner, florist. But also the God First Beauty Salon, Panda Gate China Walk, a nameless taco joint.
And the sky blue funeral home right there, the laundromat with basement porn booths, the American Legion selling pumpkin bread, it's all just there, side by side.
It feels like a community trying to make do, you know?
Ah.
You see the Migrant Laborers Law Office, the YMCA with a needle exchange, a halfway house, that half-painted Cape House.
The blueberry stand with the pay what you can sign, it shows the need, but also the small attempts at coping, at community.
And the people mentioned, high school kids in the Walmart parking lot, fathers watching football, hoping their sons find manhood through crushing tackles, torn book pages on the field, words gone to ground, like potential dissipates.
Even history feels heavy there. The library was an armory, housed runaway slaves. The Sojourner Truth statue has no water. Promise unfulfilled.
And that Lego T-Rex memorial for the boy, Adam Munsey, killed by the school bus. Heartbreaking.
Then the Colt factory. Civil War rifles to Coca-Cola. A strange arc of industry.
You get the road to the women's prison, dinosaur footprints near Wendy's and Burger King, the 90-night motel, Cahoots nightclub.
And those hand-painted signs everywhere. Instabail, no fracking, guns ahead. It's just raw, contradictory.
And it all kind of leads to King Philip's Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
named for a Wampanoag chief, covered in graffiti from different times, different struggles, Spy Kids 2, political
Sure.
slogans, old declarations of love.
The source calls it the last way out of town.
Yeah.
So you put all that together, this town, East Gladness, it's dense. It's got history, decay, beauty, struggle. It feels overlooked, but also kind of defiant.
Yeah.
And that atmosphere is the perfect stage for what happens next in the book. It really mirrors that feeling of being on the edge.
On the edge.
Okay.
So let's shift focus now, right into Chapter 1, on to High. The story opens right there, on King Philip's Bridge, September 15th, 2009.
Yep, right in the middle of that setting we just described.
We meet High, 19, Vietnamese American. It's raining. He's wearing this oversized UPS jacket. But it's his internal state that really grabs you. The source says he's in the midnight of his childhood and a lifetime from first light.
Such evocative language.
He feels unforgiven, cold. His breath is fogging. The train tracks below are humming. He's described as standing at the edge of something final. He turns from the town, swings a leg over rail, and then this line. He decided, like a good son, to jump.
That phrase, like a good son, applied to suicide. What does that even mean? It's chilling.
It's devastating, isn't it? It hints at such a complicated inner world. Obligation, maybe?
Yeah.
Shame, expectation. The source summary mentions Vuong's language is sparse but heavy, full of isolation and internal ache.
And it's not just his actions, it's the poetic quietness, the things he doesn't say. Suggests suppressed trauma, maybe paralysis. He's not just on a physical edge, he's at an internal precipice.
And right then,
yeah.
at that exact moment, he's interrupted.
Interruption, yeah.
Elderly woman appears. Grazina.
Right.
The source just describes her as elderly, lost, confused, wandering due to dementia. Just think about that collision.
Yeah.
High, in this ultimate moment of planned despair, and then this mundane, almost random intrusion of vulnerability.
It's such a stark contrast, and what's really key, as the source notes, is that she isn't trying to save him, she's just lost. Her action is completely unintentional in that sense.
Right.
And that really drives home a theme, doesn't it? That sometimes salvation or just continuation doesn't come from a big miracle, it comes from a distraction, an unexpected demand, something that feels like purpose, even if it's just for a moment, compassion just bumping into you.
And High's reaction, it's instinctual. He doesn't follow through with his plan, he shifts. He sees her lost and confused and helps her home. He becomes a caretaker.
Yeah, that switch is immediate.
And we learn, Grazina lives alone, no family nearby. So High, who was literally seconds from ending everything, finds himself staying with her, making sure she's okay, suddenly responsible.
And that's the pivot, isn't it? The source calls it a new beginning. The start of this fragile, awkward companionship.
Fragile and awkward, yeah.
It immediately introduces that theme of role reversal, found family. High is lost in his own way, suicidal. Grazina is lost to dementia, vulnerable. And somehow, they need each other. That simple act of caregiving gives High a reason, an unexpected anchor. It's redemptive, but not in some grand way, just through messy, immediate human connection.
The writing itself, the source mentions, really enhances this.
Oh, absolutely.
The imagery, the fog, the still water, Grazina's mismatched clothes, it creates this, like, dreamlike feel, blurring reality, maybe?
Yeah, reflecting High's own disorientation, perhaps. And the tone, gentle and haunting, it captures that mood perfectly.
And the narrative style. It's third person, but feels so close to High. Intimately first person in spirit, the source calls it.
Exactly. It pulls you right into his head, makes his struggle feel incredibly real, even when he's silent. These aren't just fancy writing tricks. They're crucial for making you feel the weight of that moment on the bridge.
It really makes you think,
Yeah.
you know, about those unexpected moments in life, the things that just happen and throw you onto a different track.
What stands out to you listening to this? How often are the big shifts not planned, but just interruptions? Simple human stuff. So wrapping up our journey through this first chapter, we started in East Gladness, felt its weight. We stood with High on that bridge, feeling his despair. Then met Grazina, this completely unexpected presence, and saw High make this sudden life-affirming choice through an act of care.
Yeah, we've really seen how this chapter sets up so much. The fragility of mental well-being, the power of unexpected connection, how redemption can sneak in through quiet acts, even acts born from confusion. It's all packed in there. It definitely leaves you with something to chew on. Here's a question maybe to take with you. Can a single act of kindness, even one that's unintentional, not meant to be heroic, actually redirect a life?
It's a powerful question.
This deep dive into Chapter 1 is just the beginning, by the way. It's part of our chapter-by-chapter breakdown series with the book podcaster. So we'll be exploring more of the Emperor of Gladness soon.